I'm a historian of education, and I've often written about the educational fads and enthusiasm of this past century. Unfortunately, the field of pedagogy is subject to frequent bouts of infatuation with fads and with lemming-like behavior and adopting the latest fad and thinking of it as holy writ. Seems to be happening now. After examining the materials associated with the 21st century learning, 21st century skills movement, I concluded, to quote that noted philosopher Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again. There is nothing new in the proposals of the 21st century skills movement. The same ideas have been iterated and reiterated by pedagogues across the 20th century. Their calls for 20th century skills sound identical to the current movement to promote 21st century skills. If there was one cause that animated the schools of education in this country and throughout the 20th century, it was the search for that ultimate breakthrough that would finally loosen the shackles of subject matter and content.
Until you know what you're doing, tread very carefully. And I think that's a really important point, what the evidentiary basis of all this is. It is not, what's to be found on the P21 website is not a package which has been evaluated in a randomized control design, and we kind of know it works. We may not know how it works, but we know that it works. What is being described to us is a vision of how the mind works and trying to square that with a set of goals. And I find fundamental errors in the vision of how the mind works, and that gives me serious concerns about the likelihood that the goals are going to be met.
Incautious claims about the transferability of 21st century skills from one domain to another are misleading. I should put it more strongly. The how-to concept is just plain wrong. The misconception explains why the P21 lesson plans are so indifferent to the dangers of wasteful opportunity costs. After all, if the main purpose isn't the gaining of knowledge, but the development of all purpose muscles, it doesn't much matter which exercises are used to develop them.
We have a lot of disadvantaged kids out there who are not getting anywhere close to having a liberal arts education.
I'm having sort of an out-of-body experience, I think. And that is, we have 90% of our education today is focused exactly where you'd like it. Most of what we're doing is subject matter focused. Most of the assessment is subject matter focused. Most of the pedagogy is subject matter focused. We are not producing students with critical thinking skills.
I think I would disagree with it, that American education has focused solely on content. Now it's time for skills, or something of that sort that you said. I don't think that's actually true. Part of what I have argued for a long time is that we have not paid enough attention to content, and I would certainly not separate content and skills. I've been particularly interested in the teaching of history, and I was the one of the primary authors of the California History Social Science curriculum. And throughout the curriculum, the content was illuminated by the idea of critical thinking, critical analysis, civic engagement, problem solving, deductive reasoning, inferential reasoning, all sorts of critical thinking brought to bear on history. I would be far more persuaded that you're not interested in the separation if you change the name of your group to P21 Skills and Knowledge. It's the fact that you call it P21 Skills leads people to reasonably critically think that you are separating skills and knowledge.
We do need a citizenry that is able to communicate, solve problems, master computers, think critically, innovate, adapt. The movement to teach these 21st century skills is trying to fill a genuine need. And I think that's the patriotic reason why so many powerful groups are supporting this P21 movement. Its critics are are concerned that the emphasis on hands-on projects will shift class time away from subject matters, and consequently impair the skills students need to be productive citizens. Now, I think these worries are well-founded.
The educated person learns not only from his or her own personal experience, but from the hard-earned experience of others. We do not restart the world anew in each generation. We stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before us. What matters most in the use of our brains is our capacity to make generalizations, to see beyond our own immediate experience. The intelligent person, the one who truly is a practitioner of critical thinking, has the learning capacity to understand the lessons of history, to engage in the adventures of literature, to grasp the inner logic of science and mathematics, and to realize the meaning of philosophical debates by studying them. Through literature, for example, we have the opportunity to see the world through the eyes of another person, to walk in their shoes, to experience life as it was lived in another century and in another culture, to live vicariously beyond the bounds of our own time and family and place. What a gift this is. How sad to refuse it. Until we teach our teachers and our students to love knowledge and to love learning, we cannot expect them to use their minds well.